I've just finished watching both the seasons of the German Netflix original series Dark, and today in this video I'll share my thoughts about the series and review it, and will also discuss what I think you should expect from season 3 of the series. And definitely there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't finished watching the entire series yet, then you should skip this video. Hello guys, my name is Shubhadeep Mondal. I'm an independent filmmaker, and on this channel I upload short films, music videos, photo and video editing tutorials, and also occasionally I make these kinds of videos where I simply talk about films and filmmaking. So if you're new here and are interested in any of these topics, then you may consider subscribing. So first of all, I have really loved this series, and I think this is one of the best fictions based on time travel that I've ever seen. If I have to sum up the whole series in one word, then that would be mind-bending. So let's talk about the premise a bit. The story takes place in a small town in Germany named Winden. The entire show mainly revolves around 4 families who live in the neighborhood and how their lives change due to time traveling. The entire arc of the first season spans over 3 generations, and in season 2, the plot gets more complicated with the addition of more time traveling. In this video, I'm not going to explain the series, as you will get a lot of videos on that if you're unable to follow up with the series. Then watching those videos may help. But I think if you watch the entire series within a span of a few days, then you shouldn't feel lost. Still, if you want me to make an explanation video, then just comment below and I'll make one. Although, there will be moments which are intentionally designed to f with your mind, and you wouldn't get any of the answers immediately, but it will reveal all the secrets eventually. It's more like a slow burn, which in my opinion is the main reason you don't feel bored with the show and you remain glued to the story. So although at first glance the show may seem a bit confusing, but if you stick to it, you will get all your answers cleared by the end of it. And whatever is still not cleared, I believe, is the content for season 3. I love watching these kinds of complicated films. This is actually my favorite genre, and I'm more interested in making such films as well. And time travel is the most intriguing thing to me, and this show has explored the possibilities of time traveling in such an intricate way that I'm so amazed. Actually, I also had a script which I was working on since the last few months, which was also based on time traveling and higher dimensions, which I don't think I should work on anymore. They have already showed everything that I had in my script and made 1,000 times better script than I could have ever written, and I'm so glad they did. My script was also based on the bootstrap paradox. If you don't know what that is, let me tell you briefly. If time travel gets invented sometime in the future, and someone from that future uses that invention to travel back in time to the present and give us the blueprint for the time machine, then we can create the time machine with the help of that blueprint, and eventually that will be the time machine that gets invented in the future. But if the blueprint has been given to us from the future and we use that only to make the time machine, then who has written the blueprint in the first place? The blueprint has never been written, and thus creates a paradox, which is called the bootstrap paradox. Dark is mainly based on this paradox. If you're familiar with watching these kinds of films like Predestination, Triangle, or even Interstellar, then you wouldn't have difficulties understanding Dark. Rather, you'll enjoy the show, because this series has explored the concept better than any of these films. A brother of mine, who is also a filmmaker, who actually suggested me this show, has also felt the same way and said the same thing, that this series has already explored everything and there is nothing left for us to do. His name is Torongo, and he has actually made a short film on the topic of parallel universe for my banner Flix Canvas, the post-production for which is going on right now, and the film will be released soon on my channel. So definitely keep an eye on my channel for that as well. And if you're interested in knowing the story of that short film that I was talking about, then just let me know and maybe I'll share the story with you guys someday, as I won't make the film anymore. Although it has a lot of differences from Dark, but still, the main crux of the film is already done. While watching Dark, if you're having difficulty in following the order of the events, then just look for the details to keep track. For example, the present Jonas has a scar on his neck, which he got when he was hung in the future, and when he comes back to the present, he still have it on him. He was also shot in his leg, so he limps. So you can distinguish him by that. You may also follow the growth of their hair to keep track. Even the color tone for the different time zones are different. The past is more warm and vibrant, more like period films, the present is neutral in color, and the apocalyptic future is kind of a dystopian muted blue. In non-linear films, filmmakers use these details all the time to help you keep track of the order. In Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Kate Winslet's hair color was the detail. Well, I have enjoyed the season 2 of Dark even more than the season 1. I think the creators have really done a commendable job in keeping everything in line till now. I haven't found any major loopholes yet, and that's really mind-blowing. They have managed to keep the whole story moving forward in such a complicated way and still been able to tie up everything and not making the series too convoluted or too confusing. That's really an achievement. The cinematography and the music are also equally fitting to the story. You wouldn't get bored for a single moment. Now, if I compare Dark with Stranger Things, then at first glance, you may find similarities with the story where a kid gets missing and the entire town gets involved in solving that mystery, but the similarities end there. Dark is completely a different story and is geared towards much more mature audience, and it requires the participation of the audience, and it actually teases with the audience's intelligence as well. Whereas Stranger Things is more suited for the teenage audience, so you can't compare these two shows. I think the characters of Stranger Things are much more lovable, but in Dark, the story structure is the most lovable character in the entire series. And with the Dark Season 3, I believe it will become much more interesting with the introduction of alternate dimensions or multiverse and everything else they can possibly squeeze in. I can't wait to see what they do with the Season 3. I think there are two possibilities. In one, they will make everything fine at the end of the show, where it may happen that the good characters get transported to a different universe altogether and starts a new and fresh timeline, which will prove that destiny can be changed. But from the vibe that I get from these two seasons is, they will definitely introduce the concept of multiverse or alternate timelines, and by the end of the show, we may feel that everything is going to be alright, but at the very end, all the separate universes together may get repeated, making it a giant loop, and will stick to the concept of predestination paradox. I'll definitely love the second outcome. Let me know in the comment section below what are your thoughts and what would you like to see. But whatever the case is, with the release of films like Tenet and Dark, 2020 will be a super exciting year for people like us who just devours this kind of films. So if you're one of us, definitely watch Season 1 and Season 2 of Dark if you haven't already. You will definitely dig it. That's it for today guys. I'll see you in the next video.